Hello, Canada. Today, we're diving into a major financial development that could impact nearly every worker across the country. It's official, the federal government has increased CPP contributions again, and many Canadians are just now starting to feel it in their paychecks. If you're already wondering why your recent pay seemed a bit lighter, this might just be the reason why. The new changes to the Canada Pension Plan mean more of your hard-earned income is being deducted every pay period. And for some, the amount is far higher than expected. So just how much more are you paying into CPP? Who's affected the most? And will it really pay off later in retirement? In this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about this CPP increase, from the rising contribution rates to how much more Canadians will see deducted. We'll also cover why the government made this move, who stands to gain, who may lose out, and whether the long-term benefits truly outweigh the short-term burden. So stay tuned, because this is more than just a small tweak. It's a big shift in how we all save for retirement in Canada. To fully understand what's going on, let's start with the basics. The Canada Pension Plan, or CPP, is a national retirement pension system that almost all working Canadians contribute to. If you're between the ages of 18 and 70 and earning more than $3,500 a year, you're required to contribute. In return, you receive a monthly pension payment when you retire, designed to replace part of your pre-retirement income. But here's the catch: CPP contributions are not fixed. They're subject to change, and over the last few years, we've seen a gradual plan by the federal government to increase both the contribution rates and the earnings ceiling. This is part of a multi-phase enhancement strategy that began in 2019. The latest phase kicked in this year, and it's having a noticeable effect. In 2025, the maximum amount of earnings subject to CPP contributions, called the year's maximum pensionable earnings, or YMPE, has jumped again. Not only that, but we've now officially entered into the second tier of CPP contributions. This second ceiling applies an additional rate on earnings above the standard threshold. In short, people are paying more, and in some cases, significantly more. So let's talk real numbers. In 2024, the YMPE was set at $66,600. That meant if you earned more than that, any additional income wasn't subject to CPP deductions. The contribution rate for both employees and employers remained steady at 5.95% each, which meant the maximum annual contribution per person was around $3,867. But in 2025, things have changed. The YMPE has now risen to $73,200, and on top of that, there's now a second earnings ceiling. That means people earning between $73,200 and $87,000 will have to pay an extra 4% CPP contribution on those additional earnings. This is referred to as the second additional CPP contribution. So, if you're earning $87,000 or more, your total annual CPP contribution could now exceed $4,000. And because CPP is a shared responsibility between employees and employers, your employer is also contributing the same amount on your behalf. For self-employed individuals, this hits even harder. You're responsible for both shares, meaning you could be contributing over $8,000 a year to CPP alone. For someone earning a modest or average income, this still means an increase. Maybe your paycheck looks smaller and you're wondering why. That's because your contributions have gone up, whether you're earning $50,000 or $85,000. You might be wondering, why now? Why are Canadians being asked to contribute more when the cost of living is already out of control? The answer goes back to a long-term plan. In 2016, federal and provincial governments agreed to enhance the CPP in order to provide greater retirement security for future generations. The plan involves slowly increasing the contribution rates and expanding the range of earnings that are subject to deductions. In exchange, Canadians are promised larger CPP payments in retirement. In other words, it's a forced savings plan. The idea is that many Canadians aren't saving enough for retirement, especially with the decline in workplace pensions. So the government stepped in to make sure that more people will have a solid foundation when they stop working. It's a noble idea on paper. But the reality for many Canadians is that saving for the future is becoming increasingly difficult, especially when just surviving the present is hard enough. According to the government, yes, eventually. Under the new enhancements, a worker who contributes at the new higher rates for 40 years will receive up to 50% more in CPP payments during retirement compared to someone who retired under the old rules. Before the enhancement, CPP was designed to replace about 25% of your pre-retirement earnings up to the YMPE. Now it aims to replace up to 33% and covers a larger range of income. So in theory, that could mean hundreds more dollars in your monthly pension payment after you turn 65. But here's the catch. Only people who contribute at the enhanced levels for their entire careers will see the full benefit. If you're already in your 40s or 50s, the increase to your retirement income will be far less. Yet you're still paying the higher contribution now. So yes, if you're 25 years old and just starting your career, you may see a strong return in 40 years. But for everyone else, the benefit is partial at best. And in the meantime, you're dealing with higher deductions from your already stretched income. It's not just employees who are feeling the pressure. Employers are also affected. Since CPP contributions are matched by the employer, businesses now have higher payroll costs. For companies with dozens or hundreds of employees, this adds up quickly. Small businesses in particular are concerned. Many are still recovering from the economic impact of the pandemic, struggling with high inflation, and now they have to factor in larger payroll remittances. For some, it's manageable. For others, it could mean delaying hiring, cutting hours, or passing the cost on to consumers through higher prices. The cumulative effect of these rising costs, minimum wage increases, EI premiums, and now CPP contributions, is starting to weigh heavily on Canadian employers. Unsurprisingly, the reaction from Canadians has been mixed. Some workers are outraged, calling it an unfair tax increase disguised as a retirement benefit. They argue that they should have more control over where their money goes, whether that's investing in a TFSA, an RRSP, or even paying down debt. Others, however, see the value in forced savings. Not everyone has the discipline or knowledge to save adequately for retirement. For those people, a guaranteed pension like CPP is a lifeline. Still, the biggest criticism remains the timing. With inflation still elevated, housing unaffordable for many, and job insecurity looming, a higher CPP deduction feels like one more punch to the gut. How this compares internationally to give some perspective, it helps to compare Canada's system to others around the world. In the United States, the Social Security system is under enormous strain. Lawmakers there are frequently warning about potential insolvency within the next decade unless major reforms are introduced. Meanwhile, European countries like France and Germany have faced fierce protests over attempts to raise retirement ages or reduce benefits. By contrast, Canada's CPP is often seen as one of the most sustainable public pension systems in the world. The CPP Investment Board manages more than $500 billion in assets, and the fund is forecast to be stable for at least the next 75 years. That's no small achievement. It shows that the system is being responsibly managed, even if the cost to workers today feels painful. At this point, many Canadians are wondering, what now? Is there anything you can do to offset this new cost? Unfortunately, you can't opt out of CPP, but you can take proactive steps to understand how it fits into your overall financial strategy. Start by logging into your My Service Canada account to review your CPP contribution history and estimate your future retirement benefits. This gives you a clearer picture of what to expect. Next, consider maximizing your RRSP or TFSA contributions if possible. These vehicles allow for tax-sheltered growth and give you more control over your retirement savings. If you're self-employed, consider setting up an individual pension plan (IPP) or using income splitting strategies. Lastly, speak to a certified financial planner. They can help you understand how your increased CPP contributions might affect your long-term goals and how to structure your savings in a way that works for your unique circumstances. So, is the CPP contribution increase a necessary adjustment for a better future? Or is it just another burden placed on the shoulders of hard-working Canadians? That depends on your age, income level, and financial situation. For young workers just starting out, the long-term payoff may very well be worth it. But for many others, it's a painful cost today for an uncertain gain tomorrow. What's clear is this: the CPP contribution hike is real, and it's here to stay. Whether you see it as smart policy or another hit to your take-home pay, the only real option is to adapt and prepare. We'll continue following this story, and we'll keep you informed on all CPP, OAS, and retirement policy updates in Canada. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a critical update. Thanks for watching, Canada. Let us know in the comments, are you feeling the impact of this CPP increase? Do you think it's a smart investment in the future or an unfair burden on workers today? Hit like if you found this video helpful, subscribe for more content on Canadian finance, and share this video with a friend who needs to know what's really going on with their paycheck.